Periodic maintenance of the engine air intake system. Maintain the air filter only when the engine stops. Check the air filter for loose connections. Warning: incorrect maintenance methods will greatly shorten the service life of the engine. When the air intake restriction indicator turns red, alarm, the outer air filter element must be serviced. Release all the latches on the air cleaner housing. Remove the dust cup and clean out the accumulated dust. Turn the filter locking cover counterclockwise, remove it, and pull out the outer filter element. Use compressed air to blow off the dust on the outer filter element from the inside outward. The air pressure must not exceed 0.5 MPa. If there is a large amount of dust on the outer surface of the filter element, gently tap it by hand to loosen the dust. Do not clean the outer filter element with oil or water. After servicing, carefully inspect the outer filter element. If any damage or defects such as loose end cap rubber seals are found, replace it with a new filter assembly. The safety, inner, filter element inside the outer filter must not be removed or cleaned. Ensure that the safety filter element is replaced at the same time as the outer filter element. During installation, pay attention to the following. Ensure that the end face of the filter element is properly sealed with no air leakage. The air cleaner housing must not be deformed. The latches on the dust cup must be securely fastened to ensure proper sealing. The rubber dust discharge valve must face vertically downward. It is strictly prohibited to operate the machine without the rubber dust discharge valve installed. After the outer filter element has been serviced 3 to 6 times, it should be replaced with a new filter assembly in a timely manner. Shorten the check and maintenance intervals for harsh work conditions. Periodic maintenance of the engine fuel system. The first maintenance of the new machine is at 50 working hours. Need to replace the diesel filter and fuel oil water separator. Wipe contaminations from the diesel filter enclosure and base. Dismantle the old diesel filter with the special tool. Clean the filter base. Make sure the sealing area has been cleaned. Otherwise it will lead to poor sealing. Apply clean diesel to the gasket of the new filter and fill the filter element with fuel. And install the new diesel filter on the filter element base. After the sealing gasket contacts the mounting base, tighten 1/2 3/4 turn with a special tool. Drain off the water inside the oil water separator before starting your work every day. Replace the diesel filter and oil water separator after 500 operating hours. Periodic maintenance of the engine lubrication system. Shortly after stopping the engine and when the engine oil is still warm, remove the drain plug on the engine oil pan to drain the engine oil. Wipe off dirt from the oil filter housing. Use a suitable tool to remove the oil filter cover. Clean the sealing surfaces of the filter housing and the cover. Otherwise, poor sealing may occur. Place the new oil filter element into the filter housing. Apply clean engine oil to the sealing gasket between the cover and the filter housing, and fill the filter with engine oil. Tighten the cover onto the filter housing by hand. Then use a tool to tighten it an additional 1/2 to March 4th turn. Clean the mounting surface of the oil pan drain plug, then tighten the plug. Open the filler cap. Refuel lubricating oil according to the oil grade and specification requirement. Stop the loader on the flat ground. Start the diesel engine and stop it after running for 3 minutes. Leave the loader stationary for 5 minutes to allow sufficient time for the oil to flow back to the oil pan. Check the oil dipstick of the engine. The oil level should be in the middle of the upper and lower engraved lines on the dipstick. The first maintenance of the new machine is at 50 working hours. Need to replace the engine oil and engine oil filter. every 250 hours thereafter. Need to replace the engine oil and engine oil filter. 15W/40 cf for engine oil is recommended for routine use. If the working temperature is lower than -15 degrees Celsius. 10W/40 cf for oil is more suitable for engine start and to ensure sufficient oil supply. In severe cold regions. If the diesel engine always works at the ambient temperature below -23 degrees Celsius and there are no thermal insulation measures after the diesel engine stops running. Low temperature resistant 5W/30 SJ/cf for engine lubricating oil is a better choice. Each wheel loader consumes 17 liters this kind of engine oil. Periodic maintenance of the transmission. The first warranty for a new machine is 100 hours. Transmission oil needs to be changed. The transmission coarse filter element needs to be replaced. The transmission fine filter element needs to be replaced every 500 hours thereafter. Transmission oil needs to be changed. The transmission coarse filter element needs to be replaced. The transmission fine filter element needs to be replaced. The consumption of gearbox oil platform is 37 liters. Under normal temperature conditions, number 8 hydraulic transmission oil should be used. Under cold temperature conditions, number 8D hydraulic transmission oil should be used. Periodic maintenance of the hydraulic system. Initial service interval, 500 operating hours. The hydraulic tank suction and return filter elements must be replaced. Check the hydraulic oil level every 50 hours. The hydraulic oil, suction filter element, and return filter element should be replaced every 2000 operating hours or once a year. Dismantle the inlet and return oil filter element and clean them with diesel. Pay attention to see if there are metal impurities or foreign bodies. Each loader needs 150 liters hydraulic oil. Number 46 anti-wear hydraulic oil is recommended for summer. Number 32 anti-wear hydraulic oil is recommended for winter. Periodic maintenance of the drive axle. The first service interval for a new machine is 500 operating hours. Need to be replaced the gear oil. The gear oil must be replaced every 1000 operating hours thereafter. Drain off the gear oil of front and rear drive axle. Clean the debris and contaminations off the axle case. Add gear oil until it overflows from the oil filler bolt hole on the side of the axle case. Turn the oil drain bolt on the hub reduction gear of the drive axle to the lowest position. Turn it back to the center position after the gear oil has been completely discharged. Add approximately 3 liters of gear oil until it overflows. Each loader needs 37 liters gear oil. For drive axle and hub reduction gear. Under normal temperature conditions, 85W/90 GL 5 heavy-duty vehicle gear oil should be used. Under cold temperature conditions, 75W/90 GL 5 heavy-duty vehicle gear oil should be used. Daily maintenance of the braking system. After work every day. The drain valve of the compressed air tank should be opened. Discharge water in the compressed air tank. If the water in the compressed air tank is not discharged as required, brake performance will be impacted or invalidated. Daily inspection of brake fluid oil cup liquid level. Visually check that the front and rear brake fluid oil cups are within the engraved range of the brake fluid cups. When changing brake fluid, it's necessary to vent the braking system. Press the brake pedal when the brake pressure raises to 0.6 MPa. Loosen the bleed screw. Tighten the bleed screw and release the brake pedal after venting. Repeat the above steps until the brake fluid discharged from the bleed screw can be sprayed far away and does not contain air bubbles. Tighten the bleed screw, Clean up the fluid spilled out, fill up the brake fluid and close the container cap. Check the brake fluid level after every 10 working hours. And fill it up if the fluid is not enough. Every 1000 hours thereafter, need to change brake fluid. Each wheel loader needs about 2.1 liters brake fluid. Use DOT3 brake fluid or above. Notice, don't mix different kinds of brake fluid. Daily maintenance of the cooling system. Check the coolant level after the engine has cooled down. Slowly turn on the radiator cap to release internal pressure and remove the radiator cap. Check the radiator filler neck, the normal coolant level should be close to the top. Handling of abnormal coolant level. If the level is too low, refill with specified coolant or a mixture of coolant and distilled water. The use of mineral water is prohibited. If the level is too high or drops rapidly, check for leakage, scale buildup, or system faults. To prevent damage to the engine. Don't add coolant while the engine is at operating temperature. Allow the engine to cool down before adding coolant. Choose suitable coolant of different freezing points according to local temperature. Generally, the freezing point of coolant is 10 degrees Celsius lower than local temperature. Daily maintenance requirements for the electrical system. Check the tension of engine belt and generator belt. Appropriate belt flexivity is 10 to 15 millimeters. A too tight belt results in damage of water pump bearing and generator bearing. A too loose belt results in belt slippage, reduced working life of belt and overheat of the engine. Check the starting motor and generator for loose connector lugs. Check all the fuses inside the fuse box one by one. General fuse specification, 10A, 15A, or 20A. For maintenance-free storage battery, check the color of indicator light regularly. Green indicates sufficient battery. Black indicates that the battery is low and the battery needs to be charged. Daily maintenance of the air conditioning system. Check the tension of air condition compressor belt. Press down the belt with a force of about 98 N. The suitable lowering height of the belt is 8 to 10 millimeters. Visually inspect the flow of refrigerant in the sight glass of the reservoir for the presence of bubbles. The existence of bubble indicates insufficient refrigerant. No bubbles means normal. Periodic maintenance of the working device and structural parts. After every 50 hours of work, add additional grease to the pin shaft at the front end of the boom. After every 50 hours of work, add additional grease to the pin shaft at the rear end of the boom. After every 50 hours of work, add additional grease to the pin shaft at the rear end of the lift cylinder and the pin shaft at the front end of the piston rod. After every 50 hours of work, add additional grease to the pin shaft at the rear end of the dump cylinder and the pin shaft at the front end of the piston rod. After every 50 hours of work, add grease to the pin shaft of the rocker arm. After every 50 hours of work, add grease to the front and rear pins of the tie rod. After every 50 hours of work, add additional grease to the pin shaft at the rear end of the steering cylinder and the pin shaft at the front end of the piston rod. After every 50 hours of work, add additional grease to the upper and lower hinges. After every 250 hours of work, add additional grease to the swing frame of the rear drive axle. After every 50 hours of work, add additional grease to the front drive shaft and the middle drive shaft. After every 50 hours of work, add additional grease to the upper transmission shaft. After every 50 hours of work, add additional grease to the rear transmission shaft. After every 250 hours of operation, add additional grease to the cab door hinge. After every 250 operating hours, apply grease to the radiator guard door hinges. Daily maintenance of the transmission system. After every 50 hours of work, check whether the bolts and nuts connecting the front and rear frame and the front and rear axles are missing or loose. After every 50 hours of work, check whether the connecting bolts at the upper drive shaft, front drive shaft, middle drive shaft, and rear drive shaft are loose. After every 50 hours of work, check the gap at the middle support of the drive shaft. After every 50 hours of work, check whether the engine anchor bolts are loose. After every 50 hours of work, check whether the gearbox anchor bolts are loose. Periodic inspection of tire pressure. Check air pressure of 4 tires after every 50 working hours. Tire specification, 17.5-25-12 PR. Front tire pressure, 0.28 to 0.30 MPa. Rear tire pressure, 0.28 to 0.30 MPa. The removal, repair, and installation of tires and rims require special equipment and professional skills. Be sure to have this work carried out by a qualified tire service shop or by specially trained personnel, and observe all relevant safety regulations.